When you think about Satan, what comes to mind? The ultimate embodiment of evil, the prime ruler of hell, the fallen angel, and the one who started a war with God. Keep in mind, I already dispelled the Lucifer myth, as well as the devil caricature with the red skin horns and the goat hooves in my previous episodes, The Origin of Satan, as well as The Origin of the Devil. Now, the definitions that we see here, they're incorrect, but they're actually somewhat correct. The issue is the Old Testament definition of Satan is actually different from the New Testament definition of Satan. So we're going to go ahead and clear up what the Old Testament definition of Satan actually is. Now, keep in mind, you were told that Baal, Molech, Chemosh, Asherah, these are all demons, fallen devils, and satanic gods. And that Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, is the good God. But in actuality, they're actually all identical. They're all Middle Eastern war gods. Now, according to the original Hebrew, Satan means accuser or adversary. Now, that is the original Hebrew. Let's move on to the few instances in the Old Testament where Satan is mentioned. Now, in the Job story, Satan is in the congregation of Yahweh, or El. El is the original name, E-L. It wasn't Yahweh. The name Yahweh was actually forced into the Hebrew scriptures at around 900 BC at the advent of Yahweh monotheism. So you'll be hearing me use Yahweh and El interchangeably. Now, anyway, so Satan and El, they made a bet that basically Satan told El, hey, if you take away everything from Job, the animals, the money, his family, and hit him with leprosy, he'll curse your name. And they had a bet, and Satan had won that bet. But anyway, this story basically conveys that Satan is a member in the congregation of El, and they actually get along just fine. So, accuser, adversary, and Satan is also a member of the congregation of El. So those are the two definitions so far. Now, the third instance we can see Satan used noticeably in the Old Testament is Numbers 22:22. This is basically a verse where the angel of the Lord appears as Satan to someone that this angel has to attack. The word slickly used is adversary, but in the original Hebrew, the word was Satan. The Catholic Church slickly converted the word Satan into adversary because they want to keep you focusing on an individual, when in fact, Satan in the Old Testament actually can also be used to describe a behavior. So again, thus the definitions are as follows. The accuser, the adversary, a member of the congregation of El, or someone who is attacking as an adversary as well. Now, the fourth story that I actually found interesting was 2 Samuel 24:1. The Lord, or El, or Yahweh, had motivated David to do the consensus. Then in 1 Chronicles 21:1, it says that Satan rose up and motivated David to do the consensus. Now, these are the exact same stories in different books, and El, or Yahweh, is actually used interchangeably with Satan. So that would mean that El himself is Satan, because in two different stories, one word is Yahweh or El, and then the next story, the word is Satan. So the definitions are as follows. Satan is either the accuser or adversary, a member of the congregation of El, or El, or Yahweh himself is actually Satan. Now, the Old Testament actually doesn't even have a supervillain. There is no fallen angel, prime ruler of hell, person who goes to war with God. You see, because Satan and El actually get along very well. Moving on to the New Testament, however, Jesus slickly exposed Satan. So, in John 8:38 to 8:58, he told the Pharisees, that, you are worshiping the devil, and he is your father. The lust of your father you will do. He was a liar and the murderer since the beginning. Now you have to keep in mind the context in which he was speaking, because a lot of people can take this and go a different direction. Some people can say, well, he was talking just to the Pharisee. No, he wasn't. You have to understand, when Jesus had come, he was Jewish. So he made it very clear that he came for the Jews. So the context he was speaking in, he was addressing the Jewish tradition, not the whole planet. This is why when the Pharisees had responded to him, they said, we don't fornicate and we follow the law. How is it that we're worshiping the devil? And if we have been worshiping the devil, then who's God? And that's when Jesus ended with John 8:58, I am. But just to give you some facts about who is a murderer in the Jewish tradition, the flood story, the whole planet was wiped out, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, when the Levites slaughtered 3,000 Israelites in the desert, the fiery serpents also killed masses of Israelites, when a pestilence killed off 70,000 men, soldiers within David's army. In Numbers, the earth swallows 14,000 Israelites. The plague of Baal Peor that killed off 24,000 Israelites. Elijah killed off 450 Baal prophets. And then Yahweh himself had commanded the Israelites to do several genocides against the Hittites, Perizzites, Amorites, Hivites, Jebusites, Canaanites, and Amalekites. Now, altogether, your raw number is going to be about 112,000. But if you're calculating the time when the world got flooded, as well as the genocides, as well as other instances, the estimate total can be about somewhere around 2 to 3 million. So 2 to 3 million deaths in the Bible are actually attributed to Yahweh. So it actually makes sense that Jesus was calling Yahweh Satan. This is why when Jesus spoke about God, he never used the word Yahweh. He used the word in Aramaic, Elohah, which means father, and that got translated into the Greek theos, which means the divine. So Jesus had separated himself from Yahweh, and in fact, the initial Christians and Gnostics actually had condemned Yahweh, the God of the Bible, as a demiurge, evil God. This is why the Christians and the Gnostics wrote their own text. What happened was they wrote over 30 to 40 books of spiritual enlightenment. Some of them are great, some of them are good. I would recommend definitely reading the Gospel of Thomas, Philip, Mary, Barnabas, Pistis Sophia. It's good material, it's good content, it's Christian content. The church decided to not put those 30 to 40 books in the Bible, and the church also took out another 20 books because the Ethiopian Bible actually has 86 books instead of 66. So, again, they told you this was the Word of God, yet they left out almost 66 books and left you with 66 books. So, yeah. But anyway, sticking with the point of the video, my point is when the Catholic Church picked up the movement again, they said, no, the God of the Bible is not the devil. He's good, and Jesus is his son. So this is something that has been spread by the Catholic Church. So you don't have to believe me. You can do your own research, and you can buy the Gnostic Gospels. They're not hidden. Unfortunately, the church didn't want any competition. So there were several mass genocides against the early Christians, the Gnostics, the Cathars, and honestly, anyone who opposed the church got tortured and killed. So it's one of those things. So yes, the definition of Satan was correct, but it wasn't pertaining to a supervillain in the Old Testament. It was actually pertaining to the God of the Bible. So in the next episode, I'll go ahead and tell you more about the demiurge. And I'm going to show you that the demiurge isn't just Yahweh. It's actually every supreme being on the planet in most religions. Now, there are a few religions. I can say that Yeshua, Krishna, Tahuti. There are a few really positive gods out there that they never required any blood sacrifice. They never told anybody to commit any mass genocides. So there are a few, but for the most part, all the Supreme Fathers are avatars of the Demiurge, and I'll go ahead and make it clear who the Demiurge actually is, what it is, and what you need to pay attention to, because this is a being that has been transferred. Every time one empire falls, the other one conquers it, and they take on the Supreme Father. And I'm going to show you that this being is the same consistent under God, war God, that has been being used to terrorize the planet and is still being worshipped to this day in most major religions. For now, you guys do your research, live, laugh, love, meditate, read, study, listen, practice semen retention, love your neighbor, forgive. Peace.